Hello, this is old Mr. Kent of MrKent.com, and we're going to go for an E-Trike ride on kind of a bumpy road, and we'll get to something that's a little smoother, I think, pretty soon. And I'll tell you another story about things that happened in my life. And you've heard me in previous video talk about how I made extra money mowing lawns in the summertime and paper route and washing car windows at the Safeway parking lot. And so that that made it possible for me to spend or get the nice toys I wanted. And so but the only thing is during school, I had plenty of things to keep me busy. I lived in downtown Seattle. Actually, it was a 20-minute walk from my house to the center of Seattle, city center, I guess you'd say. And so, being a 20-minute walk, I could get down there, or I could take a bus for a dime, but then you had to wait at the bus stop. Sometimes you had to wait 20 minutes. So it was just convenient to walk downtown. And so in the summertime, when there was no school, my buddies and I, we didn't have anything to do. So a lot of times we'd go downtown, and there wasn't much to do downtown except to go into different buildings. And one of the things we would do is go to the back and see if we could find a staircase that went up to the roof. And believe it or not, there were quite a few buildings that they had no restrictions on going up the staircase and coming out on the roof. And so we did things like that. And then the Bon Marché, which later became known as Macy's, was at the center of town, and it was a good store to hang out in because they had everything. On the 6th floor, they had a hobby shop, and we got all kinds of traffic coming up here. Let's see what's going on. Better turn down my hearing aids, they're getting too noisy. Okay, so on the 6th floor of the Bon Marché was the hobby shop. And I spent a lot of time at the hobby shop because one of the things I did was to make you can buy, your plastic models, and I bought a lot of plastic model cars and stuff. And so I spent a lot of time there, and then my buddies came with me sometimes too. And so we were just goofing around one day, and I guess we were in the men's department. And they, how they have the pins holding the men's shirts together so they stay folded. Well, so we pulled a pin out. We're poking each other or whatever. So when we went to go downstairs in the Bon Marché, we had these pins in our hands with nothing to do with them. So I took out a quarter and pushed the pin into the rubber handrail on the escalator, and I figured that's a good place for it. So I pushed it in, and it stood straight up out of the handrail. And the handrail on the escalator goes down and comes back up underneath and comes around again. It's like a track. And so we got down at got off of that escalator and went to get on the next one going down. and the one we just got off of stopped. So we discovered that if you put a pin in the handrail, after you've gotten off of it and the handrail goes underneath and hits something down below in the control system, it stops the escalator. So, that was just something cool. I don't know if we did it very often, but I know one in the Christmas season, we were goofing around down there at this Bon Marché downtown. Everybody's busy shopping and all that kind of stuff, and so we got this crazy idea. Now, I got to tell you, I've already told you, I was a spoiled little bratty kid. So we thought, So we went up to the men's department, got a half a dozen pins, and then we went up to the 6th floor and started down. And as we were coming down each escalator to the ground floor, we poked a little pin into the handrail. And of course, when we went down from the 6th floor to the 5th floor, then the one coming from the 5th floor, it stopped running. And then as we went down from the 5th floor to the 4th floor, we poked the pin in. When we got off of that one, it stopped running. By the way, this is one route that I like to take, and I think we've taken this before. I know I have on the e-bike, but it's pleasant. I like to ride it. Further on, it gets kind of boring, so I probably won't bore you going down that far. Anyway, so we went from the 4th floor to the 3rd floor, and when we went to the 3rd floor, the 4th floor stopped. The escalator stopped. And then we kept going down, from the 2nd floor to the 1st floor. Now, when we got down to the ground floor, we immediately started walking towards the door. And we got to the door and we turned around and looked, and sure enough, and they had kind of a mezzanine above the 1st floor, so the escalator was kind of long. And we looked, and here was the escalator had stopped, and here was all these people standing on it, waiting for it to start again. And then they started walking. They had their bags of gifts and everything in their arms. So they started very carefully walking down the standing still escalator steps. And of course, that was the wrong thing to do. That was bad. I know that now. I knew it then too, but I didn't think it mattered that much. So we'll go up here and get off of that rut there. So a few days later, we decided we'd go do it again. And Christmas season is busy, So we go down there, downtown. We go into the Bon Marché, and we start going up the escalators to go up to the men's department to get some pins. And as we're going up, we notice that at the bottom of each down escalator, there was a man in a suit standing there, watching everybody coming down on the escalator on every floor. So what they had figured out was that some troublemaking kids had poked those needles in there, and they were going to make sure that they caught the kids that poked needles in there. And so we didn't poke any needles in anymore. That was the only time we did it. And I shouldn't be laughing, but it was kind of fun to watch. And so let me stop for a second. Let's stop in the shade here. kind of. We're in Arizona here, you know, and so it gets kind of hot. So anyway, that's the story. I have other things that I could share with you about junior high, but that's the one that probably is the most mean thing to do. And so we'll just tell that one story, and probably I'll jump ahead to high school on my next video. But anyway, we'll go down here, try not to crash, going straight down. We'll stop right here. There's a waterfall over there, and that's the canal road. And as I head on further down this road, I won't take you with me, but as I head further down this road, this is the road where I crashed and dislocated my shoulder. so I'll take you down all the way down sometime, but it's very boring. So I just want to say thank you for watching my video, and God bless.